Alright, so here we are about the UV. Looks like we're all ready to start. So I'm going to start from the top down. So I'm going to grab these spikes here and start with this. So this is cut in half, so it should be pretty easy to UV. So let's go to UV editor, which is under UV editor. I have a little custom shelf button right here. Close out the little toolkit. And I'm going to do by camera for right now. So I'm going to go to UV and then camera based right here. So it'll give me that basic, exactly what my view is from the camera here. Grab my UV shell, scale it down a little bit. Alright, I'm going to go into my edge selection and select this line of edges here. I just want to separate the top part from the bottom part there. And then you go to cut and click on cut right here. I have a little little button there for it. You can create a custom shelf right here as well. And if you go back to UV shell, you can separate that. Now let's see what happens right now. If you go to modify, where is it here? And then unfold. I'm used to clicking these buttons, my little shelf, so but go to modify and then unfold. We'll see what it looks like. And if you go to the UVs and select all these UVs here, and then go to modify, where is it at? Smooth, here we go. Tools and then smooth, which again I have a little button right there. And then you have this little icon right here. It says unfold and relax. If you just click on unfold and drag it to the right, it'll unfold it. So you get those nice checkered boxes right there, which means that it's unfolded properly. It's a little iffy on the edges there though. Usually moving UVs like this isn't exactly the greatest idea, but let's see if we can get a little bit of a better result. That looks okay down here. It's mainly just this top edge, or this top face up here. Yeah, this top part. Alright, I think that's good enough. There's not going to be a very detailed texture on that little flat surface there, so I'm not going to worry about really perfecting that one or those two faces there. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing for here. So click on the shell and go to modify, unfold, and then go to UVs, select the UVs. Go to tools and smooth and drag unfold out. Scale it up to get a better idea. So that's looking pretty good. So let's take these two, scale them down, and move them out of the way for right now. We want to have this this 1v1 ratio right here cleared for the time being, because we're not organizing that UVs right now. We're just flat, or we're unfolding them right now. So I'm gonna do the balloon next. All right. So that is on the Z axis. So I'm gonna go to UV, planar, and make sure it's on the Z. Now I'm going to remove or separate that front piece right there. Cut those. Select the UV shell, unfold it. Do the same for this guy. And again, pressing G repeats the previous action. You go to UVs and then relax them, or sorry, unfold them. But it's essentially just relaxing them. Check and make sure it looks all right. Looks good. I'm going to flip it around here. Move that guy into place. Take these two and move them out of the way. Balloon's done. Alright. Let's start with the tail here. So do this base. I'm going to do on the Z-axis again. And for this guy, let's see what happens if we just unfold him. And then relax the UVs and see how that looks. That might be okay. Yeah, that's not bad at all, actually. Didn't need to make any cuts there. Beautiful. Alright. Take that guy, scale it down, move it out of the way. Time for this tail. So this is going to be a little bit more tricky. So let's do on the Z-axis. Flip it around. And by the way, if you go to modify and flip, you can choose to either flip on the horizontal or the vertical. So I flipped it because that was kind of annoying how it was facing the opposite direction that I'm looking at it on this side. It was just a personal preference. So I'm going to take this whole center here, make sure everything was selected, and I'm going to cut that. And now I'm left with two edges, or two sides right here. Now let's see what happens when I unfold them. Oops. I highly recommend putting icons onto a custom shelf. Makes life a lot easier than having to constantly go up into these little toolbars. To do that, if I remember, I think it's Control-Shift-Click. Yep, Control-Shift-Click on any of these and it'll pop up right in here. Then right-click on it to delete it if you don't want it. So that's not looking too shabby at all. Pretty good. All right. I could have I could have cut that in half and just mirrored it over. I don't know if I should do that or not. Right now I'm not. I might later. We'll see. But scale it down, move it out of the way. I'm gonna grab this guy. So this has a lot of little pieces to it. So I'm gonna go to separate. And I'm gonna go with this guy first. Actually, I'm gonna go with this one first, sorry. This is gonna be an easy one. Planar on the Z-axis, unfold it, relax it, the end. Too easy. Grab this piece. He's not a perfect cylinder anymore, and the reason for that is because I scaled the whole thing down just a tad along the x-axis, so it's a little shrunk, or a little, I guess, warped there. I can always, you know, just scale that back out. Not worried about it right now. So for this one, I'm going to do planar along the x-axis. I'm going to cut, do a couple cuts here. So first I'm going to cut along here, and here, if I can select that guy. Nope. There we go. Nope. Trying to cut in between there. There we go. And right here. And this edge. And then I'll do one long cut around the, all down the bottom there, lengthwise. I'll remove that guy. So I think that's good to go. I'll cut those, take each one of these, move them out of the way, and I'll begin to unfold each one of them. I know there's a, oops. I know there's little scripts and whatnot that you can upload into here, and this will make it a little bit faster. Personally, I've been doing this for a long time, and from what I've seen, the scripts, I mean, they're fine. It's not like they're bad or anything, and they'll make it a little bit faster, but I'm kind of lazy to download them because I'm pretty fast with this as it is, so I'm not too worried about it. Maybe at some point I'll download them just to see. I mean, I have 3D Coat, and they basically try to mimic 3D Coat. I don't use 3D Coat all that often for UVing, mainly because I'm just more comfortable with Maya because I've been using it a lot longer. But I have heard that and seen that 3D Coat is one of the more popular UVing tools these days. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. And I'll scale all these down to make them more proportionate whenever I start to play Tetris here and organize them all into the square. But for now I'm just unwrapping them all and then moving them out to the edge. Now do this guy. And whenever you're UVing, once you lay it out, once you unwrap it, I mean, you always want to click this little box here. It's basically testing. It puts a little checker map to test your layout. And if you see squares that aren't too warped, you usually want pretty good squares. The closer they are to the looking exactly like this, the better you have it unwrapped. If you have like rectangles, then you should probably work on them. Like for instance right here, since I haven't UV'd this yet, you see this weird sort of distortion going on. You don't want that. You want something that looks like this. Even that's a little rectangular. All right. Oops. There you go. Make sure you click on fold and not relax, otherwise it'll do some weird shit. I'm not entirely sure what that is supposed to do. See, that's what you want, something like that. You can perfectly see the checkers. Everything is distributed accordingly, or distributed accordingly. That might work, just one line along there. We'll see. Oh yeah, I did want to cut it in half there. Apparently I cut it in half on accident. You can always just project the planar map onto it to fix it, or I can do undo. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks all right. You don't really want to be cutting off every single little piece. It starts to get a little inefficient. And that looks fine the way it is. A little distorted right there, but it's pretty good. I'm not going to have any issues with that.